Ladies and gentlemen, Max Datoli is on the podcast for episode number 32, aka Maximus Yoga on IG. Max, I appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday to be here, my brother.
Thank you for taking the time out of your Sunday to have me on a podcast. Thank you.
Hell yeah. So for those listening that may not know who you are, let them know who you are, what you do, where you've been. Take us along the journey.
Well, I'm Maximus, whatever's easier to say. I'm just an energy man. I'm out here doing yoga, living by yoga. We're all humans, so we kind of go out of the structure here and there. But yeah, I focus mainly on yoga. I teach athletes to everyday beings how to calm themselves through movement. I got into this through soccer. I used to play at St. Louis University. Had some fun time there playing, got injured, ended up stopping, which led me into yoga. It was kind of a place to ground myself and find myself in terms of what I want to do with my life and who I want to be within my life. So yeah, that's me. If you ever see me, I'll probably have some loud-looking hair and barefooted.
Barefooted, yeah. I forgot to mention that. This is the first episode where we're bringing the dogs out.
Dogs are out, always.
Been working up the courage to do that. I've been wanting to forever, but I just didn't want to, But then Max pulled up in the sandals, said, all right, this might be the one.
The stocks.
Yeah, the stocks, baby.
The stocks.
Is Barefoot, we're huge proponents of Barefoot here at Grounded Enterprises. Is that, you said you live barefoot. What physical benefits and or spiritual benefits have you experienced or are a part of living barefoot, being barefoot?
For sure. To start, I've had 6 leg surgeries. And for anybody saying like it's the way of the world to wear shoes is, in my opinion, wrong. Every time I feel my joints moving from my hips, from my hip surgeries, from my knees to my knee surgeries, whenever I have pain, I'm usually wearing shoes or I just got done wearing shoes for a long period of time. When I'm barefooted, I can go on long walks without feeling pain, and I'm very comfortable. I have problems with alignment in my left leg due to injuries and surgeries. And once again, when I'm wearing the shoes is when I truly feel like the discomfort in my leg. So from that perspective, anatomically, that's where my barefooted perspective comes from. Energetically, yeah, be one with the earth. Like we come from the earth. We're just a conscious plant. That's all we are. We have the same chemicals and biochemicals within us that the plant has. There's only so many things that nature can make stuff out of, so it's just unnatural for us to wear shoes. That's just how I view it.
I wanted to hear how you explained the spiritual benefits, because I've been trying to give my elevator pitch in a way that's practical. I think you hit the nail on the head. So you'll go for long walks barefoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I live in the city too.
So you'll walk on the sidewalk, on the street, really? On the
street, sidewalk. Just look down when you walk, like how you're supposed to do. Like you're looking down, you don't want to step on anything, and energetically, spiritually, you do absorb a lot of energy through the foot. There's a lot of meridians, like energy lines that run through your feet that are connected to your kidney, different organs, that when you go to a massage, the reason why you feel so relaxed is because it's hitting different pressure points within your body. And there's so many pressure points and little muscles that need to be soothed in your feet. And they also need to be strengthened. So when I go on long walks, the muscles that are usually dormant and can't activate because we're wearing shoes, squishing the feet together, they're actually able to work. And that's why, at least my theory, in the grounded theory, I feel like I'm able to strengthen my legs by just simply walking how I'm supposed to walk.
Yeah. I've also heard that when we wear shoes, your feet kind of operate as one unit, as opposed to when you're barefoot, you're getting all 5 toes, all the little micro meridian and joints and everything, like they're all working collectively. I think that's fire for athletes, people in general. Like when you're playing a sport or walking to the store, your feet are the only part of your body that is touching the court or touching the street, which when I heard that it sounded super simple and obvious, but then when you think about it, it's like, oh, that's how we absorb a lot of information, because that's what's in tune with the environment, if that makes sense.
Definitely. That's well said. Yeah, definitely. It's what connects you physically. Like everything, you're connected to everything as long as you are tapped in, right? When I say tapped in, I mean conscious, recognizing what's around us. You're not living through program living,
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Excuse me. Yeah. Nah, but tapped in. Like you are physically tapped in when your feet are on the ground. Like you're saying, when you're hooping. Of course, you're not going to be barefoot and playing a legit Misha game if you're a high schooler or college game, but living by it allows you to have stronger feet, which then translates into a stronger game. It's just little things like that you touched on. It connects you to the court. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah, for sure.
Was there a process to work yourself up to taking long walks barefoot on the concrete? Was that from day one, or was there a process to work your way up?
I would say a smart way to do it is to work your way up. If anybody knows me, they know I did not work my way up. I definitely just started long walks. I would run barefoot on the track because it would create these tiny little tears in the bottom of your feet. You would get a little bloody, but your body would roughen up a lot faster, I found out. So there's certain things that you can do to get your body used to it. But I think building up and just say, let's just do a mile walk here or half a mile walk here one day and then a mile walk here, see how it goes. And see how it goes. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You could stay right at the half mile or not. But yeah, always smart to work your way into it. But I just know that once someone tries it, they're not going to go back. You know, once you try it, you're not going to go back. It's just how it is.
Dude, that's how I have barefoot shoes. And when I first got them, I was like, all right, they're cool. I'm gonna wear them here and there. I'm gonna bring the J's out, when I go out and stuff. But then it got to the point where I was like, nah, I don't want to. I want to be in those shoes all the time. You mentioned the track, running on the track, and then your feet get bloody, and then you said that roughs them up, but it sounded like that was a benefit.
Yeah, definitely. I found that it was actually pretty interesting because I did it a few times. I was doing it. So after a recent surgery, after that, I was kind of in the, can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
I was kind of in the fuck it mode, I was in the fuck it mode. And I just wanted to try new things. Every time I went to physical therapy, nothing worked. I would do the same thing over and over. No, it didn't work every time. So I was just like, I want to try something new that I can think out of the box. So I was just started to do things, and then eventually run on the track barefoot was one of those things. And I just found that after I did that, I was able to go on these long walks because my body, my mind has gotten used to the discomfort of that. So I kind of got comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes sense, with being barefoot. It's not going to feel good. You're going to step on acorns. You're going to step on sticks. It's nature. You're going to step on things, but it's not going to where it's going to make your leg give out or it's going to I'm going to go home now. It's part of life. One step hurts, take another one. The little things translate into the big things as well.
Kind of like the weight room, right? You build strength up. Mm-hmm. After a certain point, you're stronger than you were from day one.
Exactly.
Build the tolerance up. So, SLU soccer. First of all, St. Mary's High School, correct?
St. Mary's High School, Southside.
Southside,
Dragons, baby. Yeah.
Let's show some love to the Dragons. What are your main takeaways from those 4 years?
The 4-year brotherhood. It's 300 people in the school. 300 people in the school. So you have no choice but to know each and every person. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the color, sexual orientation, creed. It doesn't matter. Everybody just had fun. I feel like every time I hear someone else's like experience in high school, is that there's always some type of picking on or bullying of somebody. I can truthfully say, from at least from my experience in my own eyes, that rarely, if ever, happened at St. Mary's. So I think everybody respected each other, and it taught kids how to go into the world and be respectful to people no matter who they are. And that comes from a very humble part of the city as well. South City, Dutchtown, is a very blue-collar family, very working-class part of town. Very close to it right now, being right here off Grand. Yeah, I mean. Okay,
you're gonna blow the spot up, but let's tread lightly.
No, but yeah, we're just neighborhood part of town. I love it. It's Dutchtown. I love the 4 years there for sure.
Yeah. I didn't think about that the area is like a working class area. And then the idea of that being, or just the effect of that, like what kids that breeds, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah. So then we get to SLU and played soccer there for 1 year.
I was there for a year, yeah.
Okay. Were you, in your athletic journey, high school, college, were you tapped into yoga, or was that something you found afterwards?
I had done one yoga session my entire life. So to answer your question, afterwards. I didn't really do yoga until I needed it, to be honest. Like it was like nothing left. Yoga was last resort type of deal.
Okay. Was that because there was like a stigma maybe around it, or was it just you just didn't like come around to it?
I honestly just wasn't aware. That part of my life, I was living more in a way, more ignorant way. I wasn't very conscious to a lot of things. So yeah, I just really was not aware of yoga or simply the benefits of just yoga, yeah.
Yeah. So talk about your time at SLU, because that was when the majority of the leg surgeries happened.
A couple
of them.
Yeah. So after high school, during high school is when a lot of the surgery started, and then was in California for a year, played out there, and then came back, and then committed to SLU. And right before I stepped onto campus, I had tore my knee up again and had to have surgery. And yeah, my time at SLU, it was a roller coaster for sure, because it was one of those things, like I felt like I was finally getting over the hump of injuries, and I was finally going to be like, hey, I'm finally back to my old self, back to playing high level, just kind of got out of California. I was feeling good, about to go back to my hometown, do good, and just couldn't get healthy, honestly. Just couldn't get healthy. I felt like I didn't have the right support individually with my own self. I didn't have my own support, and I didn't have support around me. I felt like it was just a roller coaster for sure. I appreciated my time there. I learned a lot. But definitely my time at SLU has directly turned me into the person I am today.
Love that.
Definitely.
Talk about, so you said you weren't tapped into yoga until after playing, and then you used the word consciousness, like you weren't tapped into that level or just that way of living. So there's the physical side of yoga that you got into after playing, but it sounds like there's also that spiritual conscious element that you tapped into when you were done playing as well. So talk about that journey, how you ended up in that position, in that way of thinking.
Definitely. I love talking about this. This is like what I want to like bring to people, is what I'm talking about right now. So I basically took myself, with the help of people who have written many books of wisdom, I took myself through a transformation. So what I did when I left SLU is I had another leg surgery. What that did is it forced me to go inside. When you have a leg surgery, for anybody who has had one, you can't move. You have a locked out brace. You're on crutches. You need help getting up. You need help going to the bathroom. You need help doing all these things. Like you can't move. So what it forces you to do is you got to go inside. So I got out a notebook. I read a couple self-help books. I wrote down all my felt sense limited beliefs. I wrote down all the things that I thought I was that have really just been programmed in me from the day I stepped out into this world. I wrote down every little thing that I could think of. I meditated over it. I did things called candlelight meditations where you stare at a candlelight and just see what you see and pops into mind. You're nodding, so you definitely know about that. And I just went and went and went. And when I was able to move, shout out my mom. She's the one that actually got me into my first yoga session. And then once I started to move, the two things collided. Wisdom that I was learning from reading and understanding that I'm not who I thought I was. I was really just living out of experiences that I have lived through, That's all it was, day-to-day living. So after that, I was like, okay, all this wisdom that is hitting me right now. And now yoga. Yoga is life. Yoga is everything from how you treat yourself to how you treat others to how you believe movement is medicine, moving your body. The reason yoga asana, which is postural yoga, got created today is because people needed to move their body because they were sitting for so long in meditation. They needed a way to move their body to free their spine. So now they can sit longer in meditation, which takes you to more parts of facets of life. So I can keep going on and on about yoga. But those two things hit me, wisdom and then yoga. And really yoga is wisdom with movement. So it's kind of everything hit at the perfect time and turned me into someone who just goes, like I got ADHD like out the ass. So like now I'm like hyperactive into yoga and spiritual and holistic living. And I'm an urban ass hippie. My girlfriend said that there's the urban hippie is a brand in St. Louis. I got to check them out, but yeah,
you could be a ambassador.
Dude. It's a lifestyle for sure.
I definitely want to circle back to the spiritual journey because you touched on a bunch of fire points. You said that yoga is wisdom with movement. What do you mean by that? So
yoga is, like I said earlier, like it's more than just moving. People think like, oh yeah, yoga's so good. It's going to trim up the belly fat. It's going to get me a V-line. It's going to give me nice shoulders, traps. Like, yes, it will if you do it consistently. But yoga itself is the science of spirit. Yoga is the science of religion. So yoga is how you view life, how you view others. There's no judgment because you are an energy. There's nothing that separates us. We are energy. We're all a big blob of energy. Yoga believes that to be true. That's why a true yogi wouldn't eat animals. They would be vegetarian, fully plant-based, because they want to stay connected and understand that you don't kill anything because that is you as well. You don't kill a part of yourself. Wisdom with movement, it's all the wisdom that you can learn in life from any part of the world, any religion, from the Tao Te Ching to the Four Agreements, which is the Toltec wisdom, all that wisdom. Yoga has its own view of that. And it's usually spot on in the core. Like there's a core of everything, and yoga's the core. So it's all that wisdom. And then you add the movement because motion is lotion, movement is medicine, all these sayings. You need that thing. You need it. You need to move the hips. You need to move the spine. You need to move the shoulders, the ankles, the toes, everything. Because that is part of your being, yoga is wisdom with movement.
So initially I viewed yoga as Maximus Yoga is hosting a yoga session at the Foundry. I'm going to go pull up and we're going to downward dog and we're going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But as you're explaining that, what I'm picturing is yoga, and then it has a bunch of tree branches. One of those tree branches is the movement, the positions, the downward dog. But then there's also other branches like life philosophy, the way you treat people. There's probably some Buddhism in there.
You're hitting it right at like...
It's a way of life, is what it sounds like.
When you said tree, that is spot on. In history of yoga, yoga philosophy talks about the 8 limbs of yoga. And they call it the 8 limbs because yoga is the tree and the limbs are the 8 facets of yoga. Hell yeah, man.
Hey,
spot on.
We're learning, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But yeah, at the Foundry, those classes, man, like we start off in silence. We start off still. It's because you want to root down. You don't want to, like, you're going to flow out your stress. You're going to flow out your anger, you know, but first we're going to calm the nervous system. We're going to move, and this movement will help you process whatever you are feeling. And at the end, you'll walk out feeling a little bit lighter because it helped release tension, stress, energy bad energy that wasn't serving you, you know, negativity, you know, just... It's a place to let it out for sure.
I like that flowing. You'll flow it out.
Flow it out.
I like that. So, okay. So developing as a person consciously, spiritually, I like this idea of like you being on the couch and not being able to move. So you're still, which resonates with me and my evolution or whatever, was like this stillness of mine was like 20/20. So like in the house, can't really go anywhere. Within that stillness for me was like boredom. And then it was like, you kind of look around and it's like, well, shit, there's nothing else to do. I might as well bring the journal out. I might as well light a candle and meditate while I look at it, you know? I don't know if I really have a question. That was just my experience. What do you think?
For sure. Yeah, we can branch off on that one.
Hell yeah.
Like doing that just because it's like you start, like you wake up after surgery or something, like, or just like you said, being in the house, you wake up and you're like, you look at your phone and then you just recognize how that makes you feel. You know, now you feel all depleted. You just like depleted yourself before you even got out of bed. Like we're all guilty of it, waking up, looking at our phone, and then you're like, fuck. I just like took in all this trauma from Instagram within 30 seconds, you know, like, and then instead having the power to just put the phone down and then either just laying there meditating, you know, or get out of bed, sit down and do it. But like you said, just having the power to do that candlelight is what really separates and shows, I think, the universe that you're willing to transform, you're willing to evolve. Having the power to do the little things. Because many people don't have the power to even think about putting that phone down. But if you have the power just to do that little step, eventually and just naturally, that path will follow, I feel like. But just taking those, like we talked earlier, the gradual steps is the smart way to go.
Yeah.
It's kind of just having that, you don't got to do it all at once. You know, it's not a race.
And I think that's why the stillness aspect was pivotal for me and for you. Like, because I found myself, like, it's super easy to get caught up in just the day-to-day, here. I go to school and then work out after and then the busy day-to-day life. But then when you have time to be still, you have time, like you don't have any excuses not to take time for yourself.
That makes sense. Yeah. But the stillness.
Yes.
Making time, and that branches to another thing. Making time for yourself is a huge thing. And so many people just can't do it. Like they can't make time for themselves. They wake up 30 minutes before they got to be at work. And then they go to work. And then right after they go to work, they go to the gym. But when they're at the gym, between sets and reps, they're looking at their phone, scrolling. And then they do the next rep. And then what do they do when they go home? On the way home, they're just listening to music loud as hell or just vaping or doing some other shit.
Yeah.
And then they go home, put on Netflix or eat food and go to bed or look at the phone and then go to bed. You know, it's just recognizing and taking time out of your day to do things you want to do. You don't always have to find stillness. I feel like through movement, you can find stillness in the mind. That's another way to find it, you know. Doing exercise that you love and having the true intent to be in the moment about that exercise or about that walk or drawing or whatever makes you feel joy, that could be a form of stillness for yourself. You know, it doesn't always have to be locked in, meditated stillness.
Right.
Because you're really you want to find a stillness in the mind. That is what is stillness in the body. Yes, that's powerful. But to start, just find stillness in the mind.
Yeah, I like the picture you painted of the guy that goes to the gym and scrolls in between sets and then listens to music on the way home and then Netflix. Like it's a constant stimulation. And so you used the term going within when you had your surgery. There's no real time to go within because you're constantly out here being bombarded with stuff. Yeah. I made a reel about that recently, like the screen time and how I've noticed a difference. At first it was social media and I kind of cut that back, but now it's just screen time in general. To your point, I can see what it does to my mood. And it's a game changer I feel like a kid again, for real. Like I wake up and I, do whatever I feel like kind of, I'd sit on my carpet and
with a smile on your face too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So if you're not like doing a bunch of scrolling, what are you doing instead?
Cooking, doing yoga. When I say doing yoga asana, postural yoga. In the garden, growing some plants right now.
Yeah.
On a walk, hanging out, reading. Yeah, just hanging out. Really.
That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah. That's how, in my opinion, I don't like this word, but that's how life should be. We're not meant to work for another man all the time. That just doesn't make sense. You shouldn't have to go to work to fulfill another man's dream. That's just, some people make good soldiers, but then again, there shouldn't really be followers and there shouldn't be, everybody should just, if everybody stayed in their lane, I think the world would be a lot better place. Just do your passion. Eventually the worlds will connect because life's a spider web and we're all interconnected. It'll happen naturally, but when you try and force your way on other people just vibe, man.
Just vibe, baby.
Vibe, man. Yeah,
just vibing.
Exactly.
Just vibing with Maximus Yoga here on episode number 32.
32. What a number. What
a great number. No, that is fire though. Like the simple life.
Yes.
Or like slow living is what I've heard it called sometimes, where it's not real like go. You're in your garden and then you're reading and then you're cooking and you're fully present in that moment. I was reading something, it was in this book I finished yesterday about how like quote unquote like financially rich, financially poor people, how rich people like so there's happiness and then there's expectations. And then when happiness rises because you get like 6 figures or whatever, the expectations rise with it. So there's always this same amount of gap, no matter how high you go. So then if it becomes, I'm in my garden and I'm fully present and I love the way that these carrots smell or whatever. And like, oh, this breeze feels really good on my skin. And you're just embracing that moment. I feel like that, like happiness mentally, like it just does so much for you.
Oh yeah. And when we go back to the first point we made about being barefoot, you're tapped in barefoot in the garden, growing food, that you're about to cook, that you read about, like all these things connect. And happiness is, there's no ceiling, no roof for the happiness at that point when you're actually connected. You feel, there's going to be days, there's going to be times, we're human, it's that human condition. that you're going to feel beat down, tired. But it's that yin. You got to have a little yang to the fire, add a little fire to it, to balance it out. But yeah.
I like that. So you're a certified yoga instructor.
Yes, sir.
How do you go about getting a certification to teach yoga?
Oh, you can do it so many ways. You could do it online. My beautiful girl right here is actually doing hers online. What I did is like I said, I do the extreme most of the time. I went to Indonesia and studied there I was there for 2 months. My program was there for a little under a month. So 3.5 weeks, I fully immersed myself in a 200-hour course. Learned tons. I would fully recommend doing that for anybody just because it's one of those things that your true attention is there. If there's other ways to do it as well with local studios like shout out Blue Sky Yoga in St. Louis. They have a program there that you can do for 6 months. And the group meets like every Saturday for 6 months, and then you do homework, and there's so many ways to do it. Online, local, you can travel somewhere, do a 3-week one, and you're ready to get going. If you're really into yoga and you're like, I kind of want to teach, just start teaching your friends. You can start teaching your friends, your family. And then if you're like, I really like teaching, then go spend the money. Go somewhere cool. Learn how to do it. See cool viewpoints, cool things about Earth in the process. That helps. If you're enjoying your time somewhere and also learning something, I believe you're going to absorb that information better because you're already at a higher vibration. Like you're just going to learn more. So if you go somewhere beautiful and learn, that's amazing, man.
There's a bunch of like brain research science stuff about like dopamine hits your brain and you become happier and smiling and laughing, and it makes your brain more like receptible for information, makes it easier to learn. So that's facts.
I can believe that for sure.
So Indonesia, you said for how long?
I was in Indonesia for 2 months.
2 months. So what would be a typical day in the life of a aspiring yogi in Indonesia? What was that like? A typical day in the life.
Life is immaculate. Wake up. You know what? I'll take you through 2 days. One day at the course and one day not at the course. At the course. Wake up about 6:30 a.m.
Course meaning what?
The teacher training.
Gotcha.
How to become a yoga instructor.
Yep.
Or just an average day, wake up 6:30, meditation at 7 a.m. for 20, 30-ish minutes. Meditate, and then take a quick break, and then you have a yoga asana, which is a yoga class that you do. It usually lasts a little over an hour. And then after that, go eat some breakfast, all plant-based food. And then about an hour to yourself just to let the food digest. And then you have a philosophy class right there. And then after that philosophy class, you go for lunch. Because the philosophy class usually lasts about 2 to 2.5 hours right there. And then after lunch, come back, another philosophy class, and then your yoga asana, and then you have dinner. And then do your thing, and then that repeats. For an aspiring yogi who doesn't have to do that, wake up around 8 a.m. and then you would go to what they have in Bali is what they call yoga. They call it the yoga barn. They have a bunch of studios. They have classes, meditation courses. You take a meditation or you teach one, and then lunch, hang out, read, walk around, go see sightseeing. And then usually yoga instructors have another business like helping one-on-ones. And that's when your time would that be. That could be in the late afternoon or morning time. People I've met usually had it in the morning time. But then, living your day. Because the nice thing about going to Indonesia or honestly island living is that it is not rushed. It's not rushed. The weather's too nice to rush. Like, there's no rush in there. Like, they are living for the moment. Like when you go sit down at a restaurant, don't like anticipate to get a water right away. Like you got time. If you want to go wash your hands, because they'll be there when they be there. Like it's just relaxed, man. It's each day is different when you're living on the island. That'd be nice. I'm like manifesting it, man. It's definitely an intention, and eventually we'll be living on an island for sure.
For sure. I was in Italy last summer, and it was very similar. Like you sit down at a restaurant and you're there for a minute, which speaks to how like America views time. We're pretty punctual compared to other countries. So when you're in Indonesia and the yoga class is at 8 a.m., is that like 8 a.m. or is it 8:10, 8:15?
That's a good question. Because here in America, a lot of yoga instructors will lock their door. They'll lock the door, and if you're late, you can't come in.
Yeah.
But there, honestly, every time I would go to class, no, it wouldn't start right at 8. There's this one instructor, Chris Walker, that I really liked, got to know him well. He was a cool dude from America, actually, from California.
I mean, Chris Walker.
So it sounds like it, wasn't from Indonesia. But anyways, he was a cool guy. So every time I teach a class, I go up to the person, introduce myself, and ask, if they want to work on something or if they have any soreness or tightness or anything. And I got that from him. He did that, and he said he wants to build a connection. Like you are guiding them through a spiritual practice. It would be beneficial to know who you are guiding through a spiritual practice. So when if I was going to his class, no, his class isn't going to start on time because he wants to see each person eye to eye and introduce himself. So if you come to my class most likely only start on time because I do the same thing that he has done because that meant a lot to me. And what I continue to find is people come up to me after class and they're like, hey, that meant a lot to me, and I really appreciate how you came up and introduced yourself. And then they write in the reviews that it was very personable and all things like that. And yeah, it's just people go to yoga class mostly when they are stressed out a lot. And if you show that support for that person, that can totally change their day. And then the way the world works is that could affect how they treat your mom if they saw them at the grocery store, like all these things are connected. So the more people you treat with kindness, the more kindness finds you, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the name of the book, but there's another one that was talking about like that snowball effect. Like you greet someone as they walk in, you brighten their day, and then they go to Target afterwards, and then they brighten the cashier's day because you put them in a good mood, and that snowball effect. Yoga especially, that's a good point that Chris made. Because I'm thinking from like basketball training, guys walk in, I do make an effort to like dap them up and talk a little bit. Yoga times 10 though, because like he said, it's a spiritual thing. So you're getting them in that mode. When you're greeting people, is there adjustments that you make based on their response?
It's a good question. Yes. So just trying to read people. Honestly, I think just trying to read people. I think that more comes instinctual for me growing up in a busy home, just trying to read people, like read the energy of the room. Yes, there is an adjustment because if someone looks at me like weird, like, why is this guy coming up to me talking to me? Like, yeah, I'm going to be like trying to make a joke or something, honestly, to get them laughing. Or if they look down, I'm going to try and smile a little bit more. Or if they're looking on their phone, I'll just try and let them do their thing. Or some people like to meditate before class. So if they look like they're in the spiritual realm, in the whole other world, then I'll just kind of look and, all right, they're doing their thing. I'll introduce myself after class because I do want to make sure like I meet the person. And you don't have to do this as an instructor, but I just like to do that. Just builds that connection and makes that person know that I saw them, just that. Yeah, because that's all anybody wants to do is just be seen for real.
Yeah.
It's the whole world.
For real. Being seen, being valued, empathy, for sure. All right. So I pulled up to one of your sessions, hot yoga with Maximus Yoga. And you were standing the whole time and then talking us through everything. Is that you, like, do you go into sessions with the whole thing planned out, or is any of it off the dome?
Yeah, I think I've only planned out one session. It was the first session I ever taught, and after that, I was like, this isn't me. So every time I go in and teach, I just whatever comes into mind is rolling. It's always a freestyle. I'm never gonna plan something out. It's just I don't believe. I like moment to moment living. If I plan something out, that's not moment to moment. Whatever comes to me is meant to come to me in that time. So if I mess up, I mess up. If I do great, I do great. It's moment to moment living. It's not easy. I find myself not moment to moment living a lot. But if you come to my class, yes, it's gonna be a freestyle. And yeah, the person that taught me, Helen in Indonesia, she told me people are not there to watch you do yoga. They are there to do yoga themselves. Your job is to guide them through a practice, not show them the practice. So if I am up there on my mat the entire 60 minutes and just doing pose after pose, I'm not able to see what that person's doing. Each time that I say a cue, it's because I'm seeing it within someone's body. If someone's in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, meaning pointing your right toes towards the front of the mat, your left foot, your left toes are pointing towards the left side of your mat. Your right knee is bent. Your right knee is over your right ankle, pointing your right toes, or your right knee over in line with your second and third toe of the right foot, meaning your right leg has to be in proper alignment. So those cues, I can't say if I'm in the posture as well, because I can't see if Jim's right knee is caved in. I can't see that, but since I'm walking around and not in my practice, but observing the others' practice, I can guide them through. But I can't do that from my mat. So I have to walk around and see all angles of each and everybody.
That was one of my takeaways, was because I expected you to be up front doing it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because I've been to yoga classes before where they're doing it. And sometimes it is helpful to look at someone.
Definitely. When you're confused, if I'm like with my hyperactivity, like if I'm rambling in words, someone can get confused. And that's when I'm like, all right, shit, let me get out of my own ego and actually demonstrate the posture. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so not to cut you off or anything, but so if someone does look confused, then I'll kind of position myself where they can see me and I'll start to demonstrate. But I try to keep that to a minimum because my goal is for someone to close their eyes and to know exactly where to put their body. Right forearm, upper right thigh, circle your left arm down through it, up to frame your left ear. Now you're in your Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Those things I want, because that's what makes it spiritual. When you close your eyes, you shut your attention off on this first attention, Ooh. The realm. You shut your attention off. And when your eyes are closed, you can truly focus on you. And that's how you, in my eyes, that's how you really make it a spiritual practice, is when your eyes are closed.
I like that. The goal is to have them be able to do it with their eyes closed, mm-hmm. because of how clearly you're explaining what to do. Are there tricks or hacks is kind of, I'm not a fan of those type of words, but ways to go about communicating the cues and stuff that were insightful to you or taught to you?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out True Fusion. They got great master yoga instructors there. They helped me through. So the nice thing about what I did is I did the teacher course and then I started teaching right away, and it just amplified the learning. So I learned at True Fusion, and they told me try to avoid using INGs. So instead of, oh God, it's hard now. Damn. or straightening your leg or something. Try to like avoid using ing, and don't use that. Use you and your. For some reason, it's easier for you to remember. I don't know the science behind it.
Oh.
And it also connects that person to that body, to their body part more. Because if you say, move that hand to your right knee instead of move your right hand to your right knee, it just feels a little bit more personable, a little bit more like there's a connection made. Move, like I'm talking directly to that person. It's just, instead of, if it's more general and more to a group of people. But if you're saying like the simple, like little words like that, I'm trying to think of more things that they might have taught me. There's definitely a lot more things, but none are coming to the mind right now. But there's definitely many more things.
No, those are bangers. I like that one. I like eliminating does and probably ums.
Yeah.
All the filler words.
Yeah, that's another thing, is the filler words. And another thing is like new filler words will come. Like as a public speaker, like new filler words will come. That's inevitable. It's just having the recognition of awareness that when they come, you notice them. And you try to nip them in the butt, but the new ones will come, and then it's a constant battle.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had it explained to me that like, I mean, it's just the attention span thing. Like as a, interesting. So for basketball training, I'm more of like a guide, sort of just nudging them in a direction. So I'll see something and then I'll just throw a cue at them. Again, the attention span thing, like say the most with saying the least. If I can say something in 2 words, I don't need to use 10. For you as a yoga instructor, the learning or the workout is more of a monologue. Like you're talking the whole time. I just thought about that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. People feel weird when they make a noise. Like they feel like they can't make a noise. When in reality, like it's okay. Like if you gotta exhale the loudest exhale you've ever heard in your life, do it. When you breathe loudly out of your mouth, you are vibrating your vagus nerve, which then regulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which brings you back into your 4 corners of your mat, the present moment. So yeah, just people are afraid to make a noise during the monologue, but it's okay to make a noise. But yes, it is essentially like a monologue, because as soon as I'm like, hey, I'm Maximus, this is your vinyasa class, welcome to True Fusion. I really don't say all that, but but really, like, yeah, you can make a noise, and then my monologue, it's a long monologue. Like it is. When you just said that, I never really thought about that, but it's a long monologue. Yeah. 60 minutes.
Yeah.
That's long.
Talking the whole time.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Talking the whole time. Like your mouth gets real dry up in there because it's hot yoga too. Whew. But I try to generally just let it come naturally. I'm not trying to force anything. I found in my playing days, I used to have really bad, like once the injury started to come on, and each time I had to live up to the expectation of being who I was before that past injury, there's so much anxiety that builds up each and every time after each injury. Not to like toot my own horn, but I was labeled as like this prodigy kid growing up in the area. And then eventually in high school, I played a total of 4 games, and I went out to California during COVID, so we weren't even able to play out there. And then just based on who I was as a kid, I was able to go to SLU for a decent, they gave me a decent scholarship, and I was very grateful for that. Not at the time, really, because I wasn't really living out of who I was or out of myself. But now I am very grateful for what they did to me. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm starting to ramble.
No, I like that, living out of yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's these, especially as an athlete. I was talking to, shout out to Keon Batchman, had him on here some episode, I forget what number. He hooped at Missouri Baptist, Maryville, a couple other places. He was talking about how, like, in a locker room, in your tribe of teammates, there's ways of acting, ways of being, ways of showing up to the world that are quote unquote acceptable. And then to do something outside of that would be like, whoa, you know? And I identify with what you're saying as well. Like, if that's what you're saying, there's these expectations as an athlete, as a person, that society puts on you. And so, especially when we're in high school, we're 15, 16 years old, we don't know what's what. So we're like, oh yeah, this is me. Definitely. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when, like, when I see young athletes, like, living through that true, because sports, it's an art form. It's an art. You're constantly moving, making shapes with your body. It's an art. Sports, 1,000%. It's an art. And the expectation, that's where the expectation, for the performance anxiety, living through that with those expectations. It's hard to, I'm trying to think of can I put this? Yeah, I'm stumped. I'm stumped. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Performance anxiety for sure. Because you felt like it was expectations from other people, expectations that you put on yourself, a mix of both.
Yeah, definitely a mix of both. It was kind of the expectation that I put on myself that, to be honest, was probably the majority of the expectations that were growing up in here in my own mind. That I put on my own self to live up to being the best player on the team right away, being the best defender, being the best person, being the fastest person, because that's who I grew up to be. Be the most athletic person. All these expectations forced me, I think, further from the game too. And it took me further and further from being away from having or living up to that expectation, I guess, if that makes sense.
There's some
the harder you push, the further you are from the actual thing you're trying to grasp, if that makes sense.
For sure. There's some like yoga, Buddha philosophy stuff in that. Like,
oh, definitely.
The more you want something, the more you have a chokehold on it, the more you have your mind's idea of this is how it needs to work, the harder it is to obtain sometimes.
Definitely.
I like that. All right, we're going to talk about hoopers and yoga.
Let's do it.
First, though, you had mentioned that like the monologue and people are uncomfortable making noises, which reminded me of, have you seen the Vine where dudes dressed up, I think it's like a Grinch costume, and they're in a yoga room?
No, I haven't seen this.
And he just like, all the clip is he's just, I'm gonna have to show it to you.
In the class?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah. They probably set it up just for the video, but
definitely. It's a whole skit.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
Have you? Nah, I haven't
Damn.
seen it.
I'm the only one, I guess.
Yeah, for real. I gotta see this. Yeah, that's facts.
We're gonna have to look it up. Okay, so hoopers and yoga. I mentioned the word stigma earlier, and I'm pretty sure you have a reel about this as well. Hoopers, doing yoga, embracing yoga. Have you found there to be a stigma? Have you found there to be a stigma, a disconnect?
Definitely. I mean, I've worked with St. Mary's basketball team. I've worked with them. I love that group of kids. And yes, there is a stigma. When if I ask a group of teenagers to go on their hands and knees in the middle of a basketball court to do cat and cow, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like that's what they do. They like look around and they start laughing like, "Who the fuck's gonna do this?"
Yeah.
So it takes time to break down that stigma for anybody. But like anything, it won't happen if you don't try. You have to, in my opinion, you have to break down that stigma because everything else has been extracted from the earth besides energy, besides spiritual movement for an athlete, in terms of recovery, from cryotherapy to how many hours of sleep. All this science has been done. What benefits the athlete? Just now is science truly starting to come out for yoga and spiritual techniques and energy medicine for athletes. That is the next aspect, the next facet of the athlete that is going to be extracted. The health and wellness industry is on the rise, $1 trillion industry, and it keeps compounding and compounding all the time. Health and wellness is spiritual practices. It's health and wellness. Of course, it has Pilates, circuit, boot camp, boxing, all these things. But the energy, the spiritual realm of the health and wellness, in my opinion, is what steers the ship. It can only go as far as the spiritual practices go. So the next mineral from the earth that is going to be extracted for the athletes is going to be spiritual. So the stigma, if you want to thrive as an athlete, you're going to have to, grow up, essentially. You got to grow up. You got to, if you wanted to prosper as an athlete, grow the fuck up and do your cat cows, your spinal articulation, do your forehead to knee pose, do all these certain shapes, because if you are in a crescent lunge is just a high lunge. It's your Ashta Chandrasana. That is the exact shape you are making to go up for a layup or to go up to dunk. Or if you go into high crane, that's the point of you pushing off the floor, bringing your right knee up, and going up for a dunk. That's your standing crane. All these shapes, if you want to build strength in those movements in your sport, build them on the mat. Find the strength there. Make your body resilient against itself before you try and make it resilient against others. We talked about earlier about building gradually up. If you want to build your body to be resilient, build it against yourself. All your body needs is its own weight. You weigh 170 plus. Lift yourself off the ground. That's 170 pounds right there, right? Do that repetitively through chaturangas. Chaturangas are just lowering yourself and then hovering over the earth in a plank position, lowering to the ground, push the earth away, lift the chest. Now you're in your back bend. More spinal articulation, lifting your chest. All these things are shapes that we do throughout each and every moment of our sport. But then again, it's back to the stigma. We look like a girl. We look soft. We have our butt perked up. And we look we're on our hands and knees. We're in down dog. It's all these things, but these stigmas are keeping you from being your true self, being your own true athlete and living out of your true way. And in my opinion, that stigma, I don't even know if it really wasn't even the stigma. It was really just the fact that I was ignorant on the subject and the unawareness of not having yoga, but I feel like I would still be playing professional with all my friends that are, if I was able to have this knowledge and this yoga in my life. Because I feel like it could save a lot of athletes' careers and it could build that longevity. If you look at all the top dogs right now, why is LeBron James able to do this? He's been doing yoga since he was in his early 20s. He's talked about it, All these Olympic athletes, they are doing these things. They are doing energy healing. They are doing yoga. They're doing meditation. All these things about calming your nervous system so your body can heal itself. Yoga doesn't heal. Yoga creates the space for healing. That's what it's about. Your body does the work. You just got to let it do it.
Yoga creates the space for healing because, like you said, gets you into that parasympathetic nervous system, which helps recovery, or what do you mean?
Yeah, so when you regulate, going throughout life, like in modern day society, you're driving down the road, right? You get honked at, boom. Your nervous system is going like fight or flight, freeze, fawn, all those things are going. Your body's trying to figure out it's survival. It's, it's once again the human condition. It's a survival mechanism, defense mechanism. When you find stillness, breathe, you regulate your parasympathetic nervous system, which then brings your mind and body out of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, and you're able to relax. When that happens, your cells can kind of go back to homeostasis, a balanced state, and start to repair itself. And if you want to take it further, you could talk about fasting and all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
To be honest, I love food, so I'm not the great at fasting. But there's science and truth behind it. But yeah, calming your nervous system. Let your body heal itself. So many times we want the quick fix. We want to get back on the field. We want the surgery. Hey, clean it up real quick, doc. Just let me get back on the field, right? We want that quick fix, that instant gratification. Just let your body heal. If I had the patience, the knowledge, I wouldn't have 6 leg surgeries right now. Like, that's just, what kid needs 6 leg surgeries? What kid needs 3? Let it, I just let the body heal. In my opinion, if you're meant to do great things in the sport, you will, regardless if you have to wait an extra 4 months for an injury to heal, rather than going the surgical route or going something that's going to just cause so much damage to the nerves in your body. Because if you find silence and stillness, your body will heal itself as long as you know what to do.
Now's a great time to give a shout out to Ray.
Hell yeah.
Ray Datoli.
Hell yeah.
Talk about a marathon mentality. Like sticking with the process of getting his body right. Weight room, yoga, the proper dosing, workload, not going from 0 to 100. And he's had that marathon mentality for over a year now, So to your point, it would have been super easy to just say, oh, give me the quick fix. But then we don't know what that might, the implications of that 5 years down, whatever it is. So shout out to Ray for trusting the process,
Definitely. Very proud, big brother.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Shout out to Ray for sure. So you mentioned fight, flight, freeze, and then there was a fourth one.
Fawn. So fawn is basically going I tend to do fawn mostly. Fawn is more of a fidgety kind, trying to please everybody, trying to say yes a lot.
Ease the tension?
Ease the tension. Yeah, it's looking to de-escalate all the time. It's looking to de-escalate. Your people pleaser, or constantly. It's a newer psych term in terms of that fight and flight. Because it's real. Some people fight, obviously. There's a bunch of fighters in the world, clearly. A bunch of people fight. Just leave it. Just leave. All right, just leave. Just exit the situation. Just done with it. Some people freeze. My mother is a freeze. She will just freeze right there. But some people fawn. I feel like I'm more of a fawn person, trying to de-escalate, find the tension and de-escalate it. And sometimes there's just nothing to fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn of. But our mind makes up this story. And it's really because it's how society has brought us up to be as a generation around our age, with the constant phone technology coming out, shoes coming out, school, religions. There's so many things. But yeah, calm the nervous system, man. Come to yoga class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I like what you said about when we were talking about stigma with hoopers, you put yoga in the category of cryotherapy, the health and wellness realm. My boy Juan, big guard on IG, he recently came out with it's an RV, and inside there's cryotherapy. those Normatec boots. Have you seen those?
Yeah. Normatecs are fire. Squeeze the pressure. I love those things. Yeah, I used to do this all the time, man.
So he's got that, like a recovery truck or a recovery RV on wheels, and he drives around to tournaments and stuff.
Shit.
And he's been killing it.
What is it? What is his IG?
Big Guard.
Big Guard?
Yeah.
Check it out.
BIGGUARD.
I'm going to check out Big Guard. Heard that Big Guard.
Shout out to Big Guard, man.
Big Guard.
But it's cool to hear you put yoga in that category, because hooping in the hooping community, like there's a big, we're big on recovery, the boots, the cryotherapy, the quick fix.
It's an intense sport. You have to. It's intense.
Some people will not argue, but they'll say that like recovery and like being prepared for the next day it's like 90% sleep and nutrition, and then 10% is everything else. The yoga parasympathetic nervous system kind of falls into the sleep category in some aspects. But I just thought it was interesting that I think it's cool and insightful that you put yoga in that category, because people love the Normatecs, people love the cryotherapy, but then to get in that cat-cow, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But I think it helps people to realize that it's in that same category. You put the Normatecs on, get into that down dog.
Yes. Yeah. It's the same mentality. It's recovery at the end of the day. You know, my coach at SLU, Kalish, would always say, what is going to make you 1% better than that next player? That 1%. If it's going to give you that 1% edge, do it. You know, what's going to give you that 1%? And right now, yoga is very, like, not many people are tapped into it, in my opinion. When I first started doing yoga and I started going to all my friends that were athletes, to be honest, I thought they were going to be like, oh, hell yeah, let me come to a class. But it wasn't, honestly. I was like, wow, like, I can't say if I was in their shoes, because I once was, and I didn't tap in. I was unaware, but at the same time I didn't. So I can't really put blame on them. But it's just, yoga is that untapped mineral. It is. It's like, you know when ice baths first started to kind of like really be a thing, ice baths. But then people, like, you get in and you're like, oh, this is a shock. Like this hurts. Only certain people will do ice baths regularly, right? Only certain people do yoga. You have to be open-minded. The closed-minded people, they won't do yoga. If you're open-minded, you'll do yoga. And the rest will follow, and you won't go back. That's how I view it. It's like the ice bath, because it's not like something easily like putting on a sleeve. It's something that takes more vulnerability. So it takes getting in that ice bath. It takes that level of pain to do it. And I think that's why it scares people off. Is people hate being vulnerable nowadays. They don't like to show their true self, because honestly, they don't even know who their true self is. So until people, it's like one of those things. It's like, what comes first, knowing yourself or yoga? Yoga helps you find yourself, but then some people can't even like get to a yoga class because they're so scared. So much.
I like that you use the word vulnerable, because it's uncomfortable. Not only is it uncomfortable, like yoga versus an ice bath, they're both uncomfortable. An ice bath, you're more or less just sitting there. Yoga is uncomfortable, but you have to, quote unquote, perform. You have to get into the poses. You have to transition. You have to do like all that stuff. So that's interesting. It kind of goes back to the performance anxiety we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and performance anxiety. So many parts of that too. And another thing about yoga is that when people view a yoga class, some people don't even know what to expect. If you don't know what to expect, picture a big open room, nothing on the floor, and people just laying towels down, and they're about to stretch on towels. That's all they're going to do. And the beautiful thing about yoga is that each and every posture, each and every stretch will look different on each and every person. I'm not going to try and force you into a shape. Your body will do what it wants to do, and eventually it will take itself further because your body is just a big one adaptable machine. It continues to adapt. That's what the human body does. So when you're in a room, like people put this expectation on the yoga class, like, oh, everybody's going to be watching me on my towel. I'm going to be stretching. All 18 eyes are going to be on me. But that's not how it is. Humans love their egos. Everybody's thinking the same thing. Everybody is focused on their own body because they think everybody is focused on them. But just focus on yourself. You'll be fine. Just go into the room. The yoga instructor may say hello. They may just ask you for your name so they can sign you in. They might not even say anything at all. When you go into that room, there's no rules. You don't have to do every posture that they tell you to do. You can lay there. If that's what you want to do for that night, you can lay there. You can sit there and meditate. You can sit there and listen to their cues if you're interested in becoming a yoga instructor. You don't have to do the postures. You make your own practice. I used the word earlier, guide, because I'm not making you do anything. I am just guiding you through it. If you want to do it, you don't have to. But I'm going to guide you through a practice. I'm not going to make you go through the practice. It's not.
I like that. Especially when you're dealing with the spiritual realm, being a guide more than anything is important. So you mentioned people like not, if you don't know what to expect in a yoga class. Yoga is a lot of you're synchronizing the breath with the movement. Inhale, do this. Exhale, do this. What are the benefits to that?
One, it increases your lung capacity, and that is great for athletes, obviously, increasing your lung capacity, endurance, and everything. Another benefit is it keeps you in the moment. So if you're continuing to think, all right, so I got to inhale. You're thinking, this is what you have to do. You're only thinking about your intentional movement. So it forms or it helps train the brain to build that body awareness, build that spatial awareness, because you are fully intentful on the moment in the four corners of your mat. Also, as it just makes more sense. So it helps the body find deeper twists and more elongated spines. So as you're going through something called the sun salutation, it's just like think of it as like a warm-up flow for yoga. As you go, like you'll bring your hands to your shins, push your shins away, lengthen your spine. That's your inhale. As you lengthen your spine, you want to inhale because your spine grows, so your lungs grow. You expand. As you exhale, which means you go into your forward fold. You're rounding your spine, so your lungs are contracted. You're creating the space to find your rounded spine. So it's kind of a thing where, yes, there are benefits specifically to the inhale and exhale, but it's also kind of that thing where it's just playing its role to help the ship kind of rise, if that makes sense. It's filling its role. So yes, there are specific benefits to that inhale and exhale, but also that synchronization of the movement with the breath is what forms the vinyasa, a type of hatha yoga, is what forms that type of flow, vinyasa, because it's really in breath, out breath. So you're moving with each half breath, essentially. But yeah, so to answer your question, there's many benefits. I hope I covered a couple of them. And then it's also helps steer the ship in a way.
I like that. And on the exhale, you're like giving the spine room to curve.
Exactly. Yeah, because if it just wouldn't make sense. If you're trying to come into the smallest ball that you can to find that stretch along your spine, it just doesn't make to then grow your lungs too as you try and, then it's just going to feel weird, not going to feel comfortable. So the more you do it naturally, it'll happen. And when I first started doing yoga, I thought that was one of the hardest things to do. But the more I kept practicing, the more I noticed that I just started to do it just involuntarily. Like your body wants to do what it wants to do, and eventually it will do its thing. You just got to guide it there first.
Yeah, that's something I need to get better at, is when I do yoga, I'll get into get it done mode, do the pose, and then lose track of my breath. Okay, so you mentioned before sessions, you'll talk to people, see how they're doing, see if anything's tight, what they need to work on. For hoopers specifically, have you found there to be any common things that they say is tight, things they need to work on?
Hips a lot. Hips a lot. And of course, knees. With my little brother, but my personal experience with knees as well. Not a hooper. Real footballer.
FUTBAL, football.
Yes. Well done. Yes. But yeah, hips, honestly. Hips. But I feel like that goes across the board for athletes in general, just the amount of pressure that goes into the hips. Basketball specifically, it's consistently, you're cutting. So that is a lot of external and internal rotation on the hips. So your hips are constantly being performed. And then when you're jumping, your calves are there. Your calves are constantly getting pressure put into there. Shoulders, thoracic spinal movements consistently with your shooting and then twisting, trying to block a shot, going up for a layup, like there's so many little movements in sports that we think, that we take for granted, honestly. We really do. But yeah, so to answer your question, hips, a lot of shoulders, but more tightness in kind of your thoracic spine, which is the more middle part of your back. And that's really responsible for all the twist and movement that you find. And I find a lot of tightness whenever I am teaching a basketball player. And if you are listening, if you're a hooper, you're already doing intense stuff. So there's, in my opinion, if you're in season or you're out of season and you're still training at a high load, at a very efficient pace, I would introduce something called yin yoga. Yin yoga, it's not, you're not going to find terrible exhaustion and physical exertion in it. It is holding postures from 3 to 5 minutes. What this does is as you regulate your parasympathetic nervous system, your body then comes out of that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, and your body can heal itself. And as your body is healing itself right then and there, you are diving and driving that stretch and strengthening into your fascia. Your fascia is everywhere. If you took all your fascia out of your body right now and stood it right next to you, it would be standing as tall as you are, because your fascia is structurally you. It is intertwined and webbed in your muscles, what connects your joints to muscles, your ligaments, tendons. It's everywhere. And what yin yoga does is it drives compression into certain parts of the body to bring the stretch and strengthening into your connective tissue, into your fascia. It's a very slow-paced thing. It can be very intense at times, just depending on how your body is. But if you are a hooper, you're already jumping, cutting, sprinting, stopping on dimes, falling on the floor, jumping into stands. You're doing so much as a hooper that you don't even realize that the most that you can do right now is find silence. And while you're finding silence, stretch. And that's yin yoga.
And is it like what's a pose you would hold for 3 to 5 minutes?
I can tell you. Have you ever done your legs up the wall?
Yes.
So in yin yoga, that's called supported waterfall. You will place a pillow or a yoga block underneath your hips and a part of your tailbone, kick your legs up the wall. There should be no effort in holding the legs up. You should be completely still. If you probably already know the benefits of doing legs up the wall, if you do it, for anybody listening and don't know, I mean, you have a bunch of lactic acid buildup in your legs as an athlete. And when you put your legs up the wall, you're given time to have gravity kind of have a role. And the gravity forces the fluids and the buildup out of the legs and flushes it into the rest of the body, promoting quicker recovery. And it also helps lower your heart rate, calm your nervous system, so many things. But that's just one posture. You could also do something called the deer pose. A deer pose is where you're sitting on the ground. You have your left leg out and at 90 degrees. So if, say, you're on your yoga mat, your left shin bone is parallel with the short edge of your mat, the front edge of your mat. Your right shin bone, out at 90 degrees to the right, your right shin bone is parallel with the long edge of your mat. You frame the shoulders to your front. Try to sit both sit bones, the bones underneath your butt, to the ground. Frame the shoulders to the front and fold over the most middle part of your left shin bone. What this does is it forces the stretch in the outside part of your left leg and your piriformis. Your piriformis is the king muscle of your glutes. If you are a person who has a tight low back all the time, that is usually due to tighter hips, honestly. A lot of people think hamstrings, but usually it's tighter hips. And when you force that stress into your piriformis, you have this thing called your sciatic nerve. Your sciatic nerve runs from your low back all the way down to your foot. That also is allowed to decompress. A lot of people have terrible nerve pain down their leg too as an athlete because all the weight is constantly being compacted into the low back. And that's where a lot of your nerves are, is in your low back. That's another stretch, and you would hold that for 5 minutes. You don't have to only hold it for 5. You can hold it for 10, 15 minutes. But it's cool too, because when you start to do it for longer, you'll find that your body gives you weird sensations, like tingling from blood flow, kind of going away from that part of the body, which is what you want as well. But these weird sensations, as humans, we like to label and judge them. Instead, go into them. Try to sit there and observe each little sensation that you get in your body and stay still. Notice what your mind wants to do. It wants to quit. It wants to get out of the posture. It wants to move. Rarely does a person want to sit in something that is uncomfortable. We were just on the retreat this past week, and the person leading the retreat, one of my mentors, said a quote pretty often, because I'm pretty sure he wanted people to understand it. I might butcher. I'm going to try not to, because it's pretty fucking phenomenal. It says, people would rather have the certainty of misery than the misery of uncertainty. So people would rather have something that doesn't work, but they know that it doesn't work. Like they know that they'll still be here and it won't work, but it will work type of deal. Rather than trust something that the unknown is like, hey, here you go. Trust it. People are scared of that, they don't want to leap into something. And it kind of even connects to the stigma, the vulnerability. People would rather be safe and stiff than vulnerable and feeling free. Because that pain barrier right there, people don't want to cross that threshold. But once they do, there's no going back. Once you cross that threshold, there's no going back. And I'm living proof of that. I can tell you're living proof. You got the dogs out right now. Yeah. So, it's all connected. And
That's fire. It's that unknown. We become sometimes addicted to like the habits. And so even though it might not get you the result, it's comfortable because it's what we know. And that can be in a waterfall. What's it called?
Supported
waterfall. That could be that. Like, I haven't held this for this long before. This is unknown. I'm not sure what to do. That could be your personality, how you show up in the world. There's all these expectations of how to be. And I've been operating from that paradigm for the first 20 years of my life. Now I'm stepping into this new unknown. It's kind of uncomfortable. I like that.
It's exciting.
Say the quote again.
The certainty, people would rather have the certainty of misery than the misery of uncertainty. Like it gets you thinking, like it's like, I like that one. It stuck with me. Every time he said that, I'm like, I hope I'm not saying it wrong, because otherwise I'm just thinking of it wrong. But either way I say it, it's fire.
Yeah, no.
It's like, damn.
Gets the point across.
Yeah, it really does.
So shit, that was a good, like, full circle, all-encompassing thing. Let's go. I want to hear, so you mentioned books a couple times. Give me, I don't know, maybe it's your top 5 most impactful books you've read. Maybe it's your top 3. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you have a top 3, maybe top 5.
I'll rattle off some books right here. People might get confused on this one, but it is very true in the terms of how the universe works. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you aren't a reader, Napoleon Hill, if you go on Amazon Prime, he also has like a little series where he literally talks about his wisdom into the camera. It's just you and Napoleon Hill, essentially, and his front desk worker, essentially. So Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Alchemist by Paul Coelho, definitely. Understanding your own personal legend, looking for it, understanding that the universe does give you signs. You just have to be open to them. So definitely The Alchemist, definitely there. I can't not say the Four Agreements. Agreements, just Toltec wisdom. That's kind of what my mentor, shout out Tom Mickler, has really kind of taught me about, is Toltec wisdom. And then I finally read the Four Agreements and understanding that everybody is living their own dream, living a new dream each and every day. And each time you get out of bed, you get to pick and choose what kind of dream you live. You can either live in hell or you can live in heaven. And ironically enough, I had this conversation with my mom as well about, she's like, this isn't heaven because I want to be able to look forward to something after I die. But every time I'm like, you just live again once you die, man. Life doesn't stop. Nothing can kill life. That is a part of life, but that just creates new life. That's all it is. So if you wake up and appreciate the life you got, you just made your heaven, man. So right there, that's 3. We can keep going. I could go into cooking.
Some cookbooks.
If you ever if you're like, don't know how to cook really, and you're like, I don't know what goes together well, you could look into the Flavor Bible. It really is just like, it helps nutritional cooking in my eyes, and nutrition is part of your being, so it connects you to the spirit, man. So yeah, the Flavor Bible. Check out the Flavor Bible because it tells you exactly what spices to put with that spice or that piece of meat or that. So if you're like interested in that, look into it. What else do I want to say? And Let Go. Let Go. That's another good book by a psychiatrist or psychologist by David Hawkins.
It sounds real familiar.
Yeah, it's a really big time self-help book. Really big time. That's another nice one because it teaches you how to. Oh my God, The Power of the Now.
Yeah,
Eckhart Tolle.
yeah,
That's another fire one. Power of the Now. I can't believe that slipped through. Yeah. That's one that I would like. Some people read fast. Like my queen over here, she reads fast as fuck, man. I'm a slow reader. I like to read something and read it again because I don't know if I understood it right or understood it like how I meant to understood it. And that was a book that I think I probably read it 3 times, but really I just read it once through. It was every time you read a sentence, it's just like it opens your mind to a new thing. And the way that book is structured is that it's almost like an interview. Eckhart Tolle is, it's almost like a debate stage. It's like Eckhart Tolle is telling you, this is the power of the now. You live in now. Nothing exists out of now. The past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is right here, is this moment. And then it is like, after that paragraph, it's kind of like a question that is kind of defending the societal view. Like, oh, well, what about this? You know, and then Eckhart's like, well, no, this. Another book, The Tao Te Ching, translation by Dr. Wayne Dwyer. That's another book. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient scripture from China. It talks about, it's 81 verses of how to live your life. It's fucking awesome. And then also the Bhagavad Gita. She's got it right here. We got it. It's the book of yoga. It's not directly tied to the Hindu religion. However, it is a book of Hindu wisdom. And that thing goes wherever I go. It's been all over the world. That book has been to Asia with me. That book will go wherever I go. It's got my the underlying verses in it that I love. It's, yeah. If you're into yoga, Bhagavad Gita is the book for you. Translation by Harry Chetan as well, because Harry Chetan's fire. Yeah, great translations.
I'm gonna have to check out the verses one.
The Tao Te Ching.
Tao Te Ching. I'm gonna have to check that one out. Have you heard of The Untethered Soul?
Oh, I feel like
Cole, shout out to Cole. He put me onto that one. Yeah,
I haven't read it, but I feel like someone has said it. Cole? I don't think I've heard it somewhere, but I haven't read it.
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about it.
That one was good. It's very similar. It's in the same world as Power of Now. Oh, he breaks down like how you're the observer of your thoughts, and he just gives. That's pretty much the main point of the book is you're the observer of your thoughts, but then the way he words it, the way he breaks it down, the analogies he gives of like, you're the one sitting in the movie theater watching the screen.
That's crazy.
But like, you don't actually feel what the guy on the screen feels. I'm not doing that metaphor justice, but like just the perspective he has on it, the way he words it, like it clicked for me.
No, that's crazy that you said the movie screen, because in every whenever I've had that thought before, like in yoga class, like every time we talk about a monologue, at the end of the monologue I say namaste, you know what I mean? It's just traditional, it's respect to the practice. But in between, like in their shavasana, when they're meditating, I kind of give a little bit of my own wisdom that I've learned through the books and in life. I mean, I'm only 23, so I haven't learned much.
You're 23?
Yeah.
Damn. I thought you were older.
Nah. I get that a lot. It's the facial hair that doesn't seem to grow on the side. So it is what it is. You know, we can't all be perfect. But yeah, the movie screen, man, like the way I would always take that thought, the way I interpreted, the way that came into my mind, is that you're sitting in the movie theater. You're watching before the movie even starts, you're watching the previews go across. That's all the thoughts. You're watching the previews go. But when you're watching the previews, you're not really having this emotional rise, right? You're not really having it. They just keep on drifting by. Each thought drifts by. That's how you want it to be. No emotion come up. Emotion may come up, and that's what you address. You dig deeper into that emotion that came up. You ask yourself why you are feeling it. Because behind each thought is a feeling. That's what let go, David Hawkins talks about, is that behind each thought is a feeling. The feelings produce the thoughts. So as you dig deeper and once you release those feelings, you will no longer have those thoughts, is the way to think about that. So movie theater, sit in the movie theater, previews go by, no emotion arise, just let them keep going. And that's meditation. And that's also life. It's the human condition. You know, you'll have something come in the head. But like you said, what is it? The untethered soul. I'm going to read that. Untethered soul. About not being the observer of those previews. Don't judge them.
Yeah.
Let it rock. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fire. I love that.
Untethered soul. Do you know who it's by?
Michael Sullivan, I believe.
Michael Sullivan. Okay.
I may be wrong, but I have it on my shelf. I can look. Also, shout out to Miss Datoli.
Hey.
You mentioned her twice. Haven't had a chance to shout her out. She put me on. I haven't gotten, but there was one day I got done working Ray out, and then me and Ray were talking about it, and so then she had came in afterwards and told me all about the patches,
yep.
The grounding patches, and there's a mat I guess Ray has on his bed.
Yeah, the
same
sleeping
thing.
mat. Yep. So the idea is everything's electricity. Our body is a vessel of electricity. It is electric. Right? So when you plug a metal rod into the ground, it has an electric pulse. The idea is that you take your wiring, right, from the metal rod up in through a window into a sheet. The sheet is filled with wiring, metal conductive material, and then you plug that wire into God, I'm not scientific, but that little where it goes inserted to connect the electrical pulse. And the idea is that that Earth's electrical energy goes up into the mat, and that mat is active, just as if the Earth is active. So the grounded energy that you get in your garden is essentially the grounded energy that you're getting on your mattress, is the thought between it. And I used to have it on my mattress. I used to, and the reason why I say used is because, to be honest, in yoga we talk about the 3 doshas. I'm a pitta. I have a fiery body. I generate heat. I sweat in the night. And what that doesn't have, the sheet, is ventilation. So it creates a lot of warmth in the body, so you sweat. So I was sweating a lot, but when you sweat, that's actually proof that is working, because when you're grounding, your body is at an increased temperature. So it's actually, in a way, proof that it is working. My oldest brother will say I'm full of shit. He is all science and math and here in this physical world, and to each their own. To each their own. Even though I want to tell him he's wrong. Exactly. To each their own, no matter how hard it is. But yeah, I believe it works. The grounded mats. And then you also have the patches that you talked about. It's that same idea, is getting that grounded energy from outside through the wire into a little patch that kind of like, you ever had those the stins unit that you put on the, yeah, it's like one of those patches you put on the skin, wherever the point of soreness, or even if you have a scrape or a cut that you want to heal. The idea is that it's neutralizing your body. Same thing with the nervous system, centering the body, bringing it back to homeostasis, a balanced state, and allowing it to heal itself. So the grounding is the same as yoga. It creates the space. Grounding itself doesn't heal. Grounding is allowing the body to center itself, which then allows the body to heal itself. So it's nature at play. You know, when you see a plant, the plant will heal itself if it's cut. If it's too cut, it will die. That is the way life goes. It's part of life, you know. But most of the time, life perseveres. You ever seen those plants that grow out of the stop signs, or the weeds that grow from cement? Like all this life. Yeah. This life perseveres. Life is resilient. Life continues to provide for life. And life will, because life is life.
Life is life.
Life is life. It's fun.
Life is fun. It's a good journey. So how we normally end is, one, any last message that you want to get off your chest. It could be words of wisdom, motivation. It could be summarizing a common theme we've touched on a couple times that you feel like is important. It's really just your time. The floor is yours. Speak on whatever you want. And then number 2, where people can find you, Instagram, if you're on YouTube or anything else. So plug anything that you want to plug.
For sure. All right. First thing I want to say, next time you're walking down the street and someone's walking towards you, say what's up to the person. Say what's up. Simple as that. That's all I want to say. Just say hello. That right there could change that person's day. Just say hello. It could change your day. Vibrations feed off vibrations. You spread a high vibration, you'll get a high vibration in return. So just say hello. That's all I'm saying. And then, where to find me? Maximus Yoga on Instagram, TikTok, Maximus Yoga, I think. Yeah, Maximus Yoga. Pretty much all around. You type in Maximus Yoga, you'll find me. And then also, if you've ever heard of school?
SKOOL.
Yeah. So I'm creating a school community for athletes. It's going to be like it's going to be like a spiritual society for athletes. You know, I'm not releasing the name yet, but it's going to be in very similar words to what I just used. Very similar verbiage. But yeah, tap into my socials, because I'll be releasing that later this fall and winter. So be on the lookout. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a spiritual hub. You'll be able to. It's gonna be free access for everybody, and then there'll be levels, because I want this information to be for everybody. If you can't afford it, there's still gonna be a free version, because I feel like everybody should have the privilege to transform. So yeah, tap it in, Maximus Yoga. be on the lookout. It's going to be a spiritual hub for athletes, community discussions, group discussions. I want this to be a support group, sanctuary, a true society where there's no one person above all. We are equal because we are. So hell yeah. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. This was awesome. What you just said, that's going to be pivotal, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be pivotal. I appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate everything that you're doing, helping the community spread the vibes, baby.
Hey, likewise. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
That is episode number 32 in the books. Peace.